A little bit more leisurely. I'm quite like lazy work. I feel like you just bang through stuff. Like, I'm not actually good at like doing the work, so
Nice.
I kind of
You're an entrepreneur that's not good at entrepreneuring. Not good at...
well, entrepreneuring I would say isn't just doing work. It's like working with other people to do work.
Oh, fairs. But I'm sure you are good at doing... I mean, you've built like a very successful... I think you're doing yourself down.
So prior to this, I worked at a tech startup, joined out of university, was employee number 2 on the commercial side. Ben, my co-founder, was employee number 1. And I did 3 roles there over 3 years. So sales for a year, ran product for a year, ran growth for a year. And I was really rubbish at all of those roles, like, honestly. I think I was good at like being in a company environment, like got on with people, like said something bright occasionally. But like the quality of work was really poor. So like this is a much better job for me. Not that I'm good at this job, but it's a better job for me because I can work with other people who are good at doing the work. So everything you see publicly for Unplugged is not me, I can assure you.
But to be able to motivate and get that from the people that work for you and produce that work, I mean, that is you.
I love the people stuff, and I love the like kind of systems thinking. So like, and actually, I really enjoy the kind of ever-growing complexity of, you know, obviously the further a company gets, the more complex the game you're playing becomes. And like, you know, the early days it was me and Ben cleaning out the toilets of the first cabin, and it was fun. Like, there's, you know, you've obviously, you can hear the passion now, and like early days, still now, there's that passion of like, we're starting something that's super exciting. But I think I am much more excited about like, okay, this is starting to get interesting, like we're bigger now, all that kind of stuff. So some people just want to be always at that like product creation right at the start. I'm much more interested at this kind of like, okay, how do we really turn this into something huge, basically? So to answer your question, my day, again, I'm not constitutionally built to sit down and like work for 12 hours. So like I do most of my work between like 8 and 9 in the morning, like just bang out the like decisions that need to be made. Nice. And then the rest of it's just like swanning around and like chatting to people and like trying not to break anything, helping out if I can. So I'm obviously like putting in a day's work, of course. But it's a lot of because it's like you need to make a few decisions well, and I'll spend a bit of time on that at the start of the day, and then the rest of that is just But no, I think it's really just kind of being there for the people doing the actual work is how I think about my job at Unplugged. There's obviously like fundraising and all that kind of shit, which is very, very time consuming, of course.
I love how you talk about your job. I feel like you do loads of other stuff, but you're just kind of like belittling it.
But I think, Hector, as well, I always love you sort of justifying like your, not even justifying, just explaining your approach to like management and leadership and how you lead the Unplugged team to like different styles of entrepreneurs as well, because it always gets the reaction that you've offered, Georgia, which is kind of like when Hector says, I work between 8 and 9 and then I go for a walk. But like, you wouldn't be able to say that with such conviction unless like it worked. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise you'd be like, oh no, I do loads of work, and but you're not. You're like, no, my job is to make big decisions for a company that's like going places, and this is how I do it.
Sick. You've optimized your own workflow. That sounds perfect. Also, like, you're a walking brand for Unplugged. You unplug, mate. Like, you're marketing for yourself, right? That's what you're doing from 9 onwards in the day. You're just marketing being unplugged.
That, honestly, if I catch myself like working in the evenings, I think to myself, this isn't. I'm a fraud if I'm doing that. So, but I do operate much better if I unplug. So I will try and get off all devices at like 6 to 7 in the evening until like 8 or 9 the next morning, and I just operate. I turn up better for everything else during the week. Yeah. Like if I am working in the evening, finishing something else, I'm a bit more overstimulated when I go to bed. Maybe won't sleep as well. Maybe we'll check my phone earlier in the morning, and you just end up in this state of just like shallow thinking. I think if I'm like checking stuff, I could so easily get into the habit, which I do most days, of have some like good quality of thought at the beginning of the day. But as soon as that goes, then most of the day is just like shallow switching between like email, WhatsApp, meetings, like, and it just ends up. And that's why I say, people might objectively look at my work day and be like, what are you talking about? You're working all this time. There's a fair amount of swanning around as well. But like to me, that's not, because, I can easily spend 2 hours doing like emails in the afternoon. It's like, I'm not actually working there. I'm just kind of like...
I think shallow thoughts is such a good way of putting it. Because I think often like interaction with kind of like social media and emails, it does keep you in that shallow like thought, whereas you're not really like deep working or thinking.
100%. Yeah. And I think there is this, we feel like, when stuff is not going well, we need to be working more, we need to be busier. But it's recognizing that like, I'm so much more effective than I used to be. I used to be fucking useless. I'm a little bit less useless now. I'm still so ineffective. Honestly, I waste so much of my day. And, I'm even like, it's almost the more effective I become, again, still not great, the more I realize like just how ineffective most of the day is. And so I think through that lens, I really don't beat myself up about like, you know, going for a 3-hour walk or like reading a book or like, you know, checking out for the day. So I actually try and be a bit less reachable generally. Try and like, I know Tim Cook from Apple is up at, you know, obviously he's doing a better job than me, but he's up at 5 a.m. making sure that he's getting out all the emails that need to go out at the start of the day, and it's just like on, everyone gets an answer straight away. I actually think there's something to be said for like taking a step back. Like, I'm a very hands-off manager, leader, whatever you want to call it. So like, it's very much like you'll do a better job than me of solving this. I'm here if you want an opinion, but and so that frees up a lot of time. I'm not good with details. I'm quite dyslexic, and so I just don't really have the patience with details. Ben luckily is very kind of detail oriented. So everyone's like, oh, but your cabins have got so much attention to detail. It's not mine, trust me.